Welcome back to my channel and another scary story series episode. So today I'm not doing makeup, but I am gonna be doing scary stories with my fiance. I think it's been a while since you guys have seen him.
You missed me.
So yeah, I wanted to do scary stories in our bed, nice and cozy. It's actually almost bedtime already, so
That's okay. No, I'm just kidding.
hopefully I am able to sleep tonight. I'm gonna be having Alex go to the restroom anytime I have to get up to pee tonight.
I'll be right there sitting next to her. Be like, come on.
So we have a few scary stories that we found online. Yours are from Reddit?
Yeah, there's semi-stories, semis. Semi-semis.
So the ones I have, I believe, are all from Reddit.
Well, mine are from Reddit, but they're not, like I said, not stories.
They're not stories,
Ish.
but they're true. They really happened.
2 people.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah.
Like, to them.
Well, yeah. Who else would it happen?
Oh, one didn't. But it just, that was...
What do you mean? It's not gonna be true?
I doubt that. It's like a phrase or like a little saying. It's just
Okay, let's get started.
It's just scary stories. You didn't say anything true.
I said true stories, scary stories. Well, maybe I didn't, but that's what I meant. Dun 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 dun. So the ones I picked out, he hasn't heard, and the ones he's picked out, I haven't heard either. So it's going to be our blind reaction, I guess. So last weekend, my girlfriend and I were attacked by a ghost. Now I should mention that my family has a long history of being able to see and feel ghosts going back to my great-grandmother. That's my family. My father was very sensitive with this kind of stuff and would often tell me about his experiences with ghosts around my house and his experiences with a Ouija board he played when he was younger. Have you ever played the Ouija board?
Nope.
Me either.
Never.
I think in elementary, I had not friends, but like classmates that would play it, but they would create their own with like a quarter and they would draw it on paper. But I would always like keep my distance because I was like, no, not I. My brother and I are both able to see and feel ghosts, and he has been talking about a woman in white that has been roaming the house, specifically his room. We've both seen her and it's been going on for a few years, but she never really bothered us, so we didn't mind her being around. That's Blackie for us. However, recently I've been getting the feeling that there might be something a little more sinister around the house. Last weekend, my girlfriend and I were laying in bed, and all of a sudden our dog goes ballistic and is running to the curtains, blocking the door and pacing back and forth. I tried to calm her down, but she wouldn't sit still, so I opened the curtains and took her outside to show her nothing was there. When we came back and my girlfriend told me she was smelling something burning, and I noticed it too. So I went upstairs to check it out, and my brother brought it up as well. However, I wrote it off as a neighbor burning plastic or something and decided to close the curtains and go back to bed. While we're laying down, our dog is still livid and darting around the room, following something. So I jokingly looked over to my girlfriend and say something along the lines of, "Oh, watch out, it's the ghost." She didn't find it very funny, but we decided to test my theory. Imagine Leo and Lola were to just... I feel like I get scared whenever I hear them bark out of nowhere, and I will go looking around the house because I'm like, why are they barking? Like, what is it?
That just recently happened?
Yeah, they were barking. I was on the VR, and then I was... Wait, did I say I was on the VR?
No, you had it on the treadmill.
On the treadmill, and I heard them barking. So I went to go look, and they kept looking like at the door. They were barking like if when someone was at the door. So I have the Ring camera, so I was like, okay, I would have gotten a notification. And then I went, nothing. I went to make sure all the doors were locked and nothing. But I'm like, why? Like, supposedly dogs are sensitive and they can see stuff like that. So I don't even know why I ever got dogs.
Not our dogs.
Okay, so she didn't find it very funny, but we decided to test my theory. I have a suit hanging up off a speed bag I hung up on the wall. AC is off, and just for shits and giggles, I say, if you're there, move the pants that are hanging up on the speed bag. And sure enough, they start to sway back and forth. We then decide to test it further and tell it to open the curtains. Now the curtains start to slowly inch open. Imagine, we have curtains over here. Start opening.
If somebody's, I'm just kidding.
Do not even dare. At this point, our dog is calmed down, but she is visibly scared. I then tell it to move my state flag that is hanging on the wall beside our dog. The flag never moved, but our dog sticks her tail between her legs and runs to the other side of the room and hides behind my girlfriend. So I walked over to where she was, and the air was ice cold. They do say, like, if you're somewhere and it's really cold out of nowhere, that's because there's a spirit or something there. At this point, I absolutely knew there was a ghost here. However, I wasn't sure if it was one to be worried about, as there are 3 to 4 ghosts around my house property, and I'm only worried about the one, now 2, that is outside by our fire pit. They have 3 to 4 ghosts? We barely dealt with one. We had one at our house, and we were like, stop messing with us. So I began to test how nice it was, which was an awful idea. I threatened to kick it out, took off my cross, and went around the room with it in my hand saying Bible verses and such. Then when I laid back down, my left shoulder blade began to burn. My girlfriend checked it, and sure enough, right where the burning was, there was multiple scratches. Now at this point, my mood began to shift. I got very angry and started cussing the ghost and telling it I'm going to kick it out.
Wow.
Do you think that's true?
Probably not.
No? You know what? Junior at our old house used to wake up with random scratches. And we were there, so...
No, I'm talking about the kicking out the ghost.
Oh.
The scratches could be, but they were like, oh, man, get out. You're getting evicted.
After that, my entire back began to burn. I hadn't been scratching my back, neither had my girlfriend. This all happened within 2 minutes. She checked me again, and now my entire back was scratched and red and hot. I'm in a tremendous amount of pain, and my girlfriend wants to leave the room. So we run up the steps, and I realize our dog is still downstairs. That's weird. Why wouldn't the dog run after them? I feel like Leonola would.
Go with this.
Yeah. So I ran back down, and while I'm grabbing her, my girlfriend starts to scream and yell for me. While I was down the steps, she felt something grab and rip at the back of her thigh, and needless to say, we hightailed it out of there. After calming down, we went back downstairs and tested it some more. We got it to move some more things, and then I took her home. What, babe?
Test it. Go test this ghost.
Well, they're used to this. They're used to this. They had 3 to 4 ghosts at their house, so they're used to talking to them, and you know. We both stated as soon as we left the house, we felt instantly better. My back had just stopped burning at that point. After I dropped her off, I went back to my house, and whenever I walked through the door, it was like running into a brick wall. Everything felt heavy and dreary, and it was uncomfortable to sleep there that night. Every time I talk about it now, my back starts to burn again where the scratches are. I also have pictures of all the scratches, so if this does well, I will post them on my profile. So he does actually post these pictures, which I will post on here in a little bit. So someone commented, it's not a ghost. You have a, I don't like saying this word, you have a demon. You probably also have a nice fake gateway somewhere in your house, so you better get a priest in there, and I'm saying this very seriously. It would be wise to ask God for help. And then someone else, I truly believe you have a demon in your house. Well, I feel like if they're at that point where they're scratching you, like it's nothing nice anymore.
Yeah.
Like that's
unless they're just trying to be like, you know what, let me get that itch for you. But they have like giant claws or something, so they're just like cutting them.
So why do they have giant claws?
Because they're dead and they haven't cut their nails in forever.
I don't know. think
I'm
so. It works.
Your spirit nails.
Okay, before I show the picture, someone commented this. I thought I was the only one that never really believed in this stuff up until 2 years ago. My father is the one that hunts me. I think haunts. It says hunts though. Hunts. That haunts me. His original intentions were decent but turned sinister. When I wouldn't agree with something he wanted, we ended up having a major argument in regards to my life and certain people who were in it. And it just turned so ugly from there. I cannot get him to leave me alone. He haunts my entire town and will not allow me to do anything regarding my life. It is to the point where he even tries to hurt my child and mother. He is much more advanced than your spirit and in a way not the same, and now has abilities like nothing on this planet. I am trying everything in my power to get him to calm down and leave my life, but nothing seems to work. Any advice would be appreciated. I don't even think that's his father. It's probably like a demon that's portraying to be
maybe
the dad, because they say they do that. That's how they get you to like fall for it. Okay, let me show the pictures.
Damn. That's crazy.
They were attacking him. Your turn, honey. Your turn. Let us know if anything similar has happened to you. I know we experienced that at our house. We had this one spirit that would like mess with us and put things, hide things from us, and would find them like later on in a different spot. And I did have a friend that actually went through that as well, where she said she had, I think, like a little girl. I think it was a little girl or a little boy. And you could always hear the child like running around, playing around in the house. And they had named it also. So they'd be like, oh, for example, the name was Jessica. Like, Jessica, stop running around. And like, she would stop.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Maybe none of them are true.
Wow, babe.
I'm just looking at them.
One job.
You didn't say true stories. I was looking for scary stories.
A ver.
Okay.
We'll be the judge of that. Not right now, babe.
No?
There's an audience.
Edit. Okay. Let's see. Like the movie.
Smile. Have y'all seen the movie Smile? It was not what everyone hyped it out to be. I thought it was gonna be super scary. It was like creepy, but not.
For the thumbnail, was both you smiling? A creepy smile. Are you ready? Are you scared?
Ready.
This story takes place at a hospital. A doctor worked overtime. It was around 11 p.m. By the time she finished, I feel like that YouTube guy. The story takes place at a hospital.
Oh God.
A doctor worked overtime. It was around 11 p.m. By the time she finished working,
Stop.
Okay. Anyway, so
Start over, please.
So the story takes place at a hospital. Now I feel like I'm gonna be sounding like him. So the story takes place at a hospital. I'll just take it like that. So the story takes place at a hospital. A doctor worked overtime. It was around 11 p.m. By the time she finished working, she waved goodbye to some of the nurses on duty and proceeds to walk down to the elevator. While she was waiting for the elevator, another nurse came up and she seems to be waiting for it too. She greeted the doctor and smiled. The elevator came. They both went inside, going down. The elevator stopped on a specific floor, the morgue. The door opened and there was a little girl standing outside. She said, "Please let me in. I'm going down too," said the little girl, her head bowed down.
Ah, hell no. First of all, whenever there's a little girl anywhere,
Especially
that's bad
in the morgue.
news.
Especially
Yeah,
in the
that's
morgue.
bad news.
So the doctor was shocked She immediately closed the elevator. She was confused and asked the doctor why did he not let her get in. The doctor replied, "You know, in the morgue, they put red strings on the wrist of a dead person. And that child is dead because she had a red string on her wrist." The nurse looked at the doctor. Her eyes became lifeless, formed a sinister smile, showed her wrist to the doctor, and said in a monotone voice, slightly tilting her head like this.
Oh my god! Ah!
And that was the end of the story.
That was a good one.
Maybe she should have grabbed his wrist and showed he had a string as well.
Imagine. We're just a bunch of dead people.
Yeah, we're just all dead. So how they scare each other, they're like, oh, I'm there too. Oh. Alright, what's up?
Who should we get next?
Oh, damn, I didn't see your string. I was trying to scare you. Imagine seeing dead people.
I would die with them right there.
Working in a hospital?
That's scary, because first of all, hospitals are haunted, because how many people die there? I'm sure there's a lot of like lost souls that don't know why they died. You know, that they die on the table and they didn't know that they died, so they're just lost for a while. I would cry and then die.
I don't know what to do. Well, if it was a dead person, I'd be like, probably sock it. Punch it in the face.
You go straight to the wall of the elevator.
Yeah.
Nightmares for sure. Just kidding, universe. I'm gonna sleep like a baby tonight. No, nothing. Thank you, God. My turn? Okay.
Ooh, nice switch up.
Alex has a Twitch, by the way. I don't know if you guys are into that.
Bub's World, if you have a Twitch, follow me. And if you don't like gaming or anything, and if your man or your woman likes gaming or something.
Your man, not your woman.
I'm
just kidding, I'm kidding. Follow him. Give him a follow. Go show him some support.
Bub's World. Bub's World.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Okay. This one is called Black Hair.
Ooh.
I've lived in the same house for over 12 years before I moved out. It was an innocent vintage house that laid atop a hill. We had a maid that usually cleaned our house once a month. She was nice and we were close with her. We were quite surprised when she said she was quitting. We kept asking her why, but she wouldn't tell us, saying that she wasn't comfortable with telling us.
It's really sus.
We were beyond confused. After lots of begging, she finally told us what made her want to quit. She said that while she was cleaning the house, she saw a girl in a white dress with long black hair that covered her face. We all had dirty blonde hair, and we weren't home at the time she was cleaning the house. We were super freaked. That night when I was in bed, it suddenly got really cold. I think I'm cold now. I hugged the nearest pillow next to me and prayed that it would keep me warm. That morning I woke up and found a long black lock of hair in my bed. The pillow I was hugging was on the opposite side of the room. So my siblings pranked me a lot, so I automatically assumed they were messing with me. So I ran downstairs into their rooms and told them that it wasn't funny. They denied it, but I didn't believe them. That was until they told me they weren't home last night and just got back this morning. They were both at a sleepover with their friends. I knew my parents wouldn't do this, so I immediately was freaked out. Since that moment, everyone refused to sleep over, claiming that they would see a girl of the exact description of our maid staring at them. I would keep waking up with strands of hair in my bed. It got so bad to the point where I started sleeping in my parents' room. We moved out now, but I soon found out that way back, a serial killer lived in our house that buried his victims under his house, and that he preferred little girls. This still freaks me out to this day.
I have the perfect solution to their problem.
What?
They should all dye their hair black.
Why would that be a solution?
Because then they would never even know. They just think it's their own hair.
But why would their hair randomly appear? Like,
because they drop their hair. Your hair's everywhere.
But it was like a lock of hair. That's a lot. I don't just shed like a bunch of hair. It's just random ones everywhere.
Still. Dye your hair black?
I think they found the perfect solution, which was move out of that house. They were probably living in that one guy's house. Gary, the clown dude, although his victims weren't little girls from what I know. Yeah, they were guys. That's true. But imagine how many serial killers are out there burying people in their houses.
That people go missing every day.
That's scary. It is scary. Someone commented, she was trying to communicate with you, most likely wanting your help. Her spirit is trapped in that house. That I truly believe, because I'm sure a lot of people that get murdered like that, they're just confused and trapped.
Well, how do you think that works to where a spirit that you can't see but they have physical hair that they can drop? Wouldn't the hair be spirit too?
Way to ruin it, babe.
I'm just...
I don't know. I'm sure there's ways, just like maybe she's getting her actual hair from her dead body and she's bringing it up because she wanted them to discover her body.
That would be crazy.
Yes.
That would be.
That was a good question though. But it's true. Someone put hair of a ghost found in your bed. And then they're laughing. Was that you, babe?
Might as well be.
We should do a word instead of party pooper. Be like scary pooper. You're a scary pooper, babe.
Okay, my turn. I went into the bathroom, turned on the light, and was shocked to see my best friend's reflection smiling at me in the mirror. And I don't know what's weirder, her menacing smile or the fact that she was crying when I surgically removed the skin to make the mask.
What? Wait, what? What? You have to read that again. What? So he was wearing it.
Wearing the best friend's face.
Ew. That's creepy. That's like some Michael Myers shit, or what's the other one? Who's the one that cuts off their face?
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, Texas, yeah. I always get like intrigued by these type of serial killers that do that, because I'm like, what trauma did they go through to where, well, I guess some of them have like a messed up face where they were burnt or something and they want to replace it, but then there's probably some that just were never happy with the face they got and are like, let me get a face that I like, and they just go kill a person.
Mm-hmm. I want my whole face.
Yeah. Train incoming.
I have a longer one.
Is it real?
Well, actually, let's just read a random one. Let's see. No one will ever find where I hid her body. A mangled corpse is the result of my last hour. I have no idea how. First, we were talking like two casual adults. Next thing you knew, the conversation escalated over the topic of politics. Then everything went blank, and she had several stab wounds in her chest area, slashes on her arms, her head hung on by a thread. I don't even know where I got a knife. This is a total mess. Fortunately, we are secluded. It was her idea to find a quiet place to talk. But how could this happen? All that blood. I must clean my car. The bloody aftermath will surely raise a red flag if anyone sees it. This is no easy feat. Good thing I have trash bags. I can dispose of all the evidence at the dump. Yeah. Okay, her purse? I wonder what's inside. Wallet, latex gloves, lipstick, razor blades, cell phone, a roll of duct tape, a syringe, and some loose change at the bottom. Those are odd contents. Wait. What is this leather case for? Looks like it's for a knife. Peculiar. So dumb. So she was gonna kill him.
Yeah.
He ended up killing her.
Wow.
Shit. That's a picture.
Where are the odds of that happening? I can't even tell what that is.
It's a girl laying.
Ew, I see that.
What?
I had this one that I can't find it, but it pretty much was at this house, and I guess there was a little girl that died in this house. So I think they were having, I don't know if it was at the, what is it called when they come over to the house once they have the funeral?
No.
House? No, the
Viewing?
no, it's after that. Well, when people come over, when after someone passes and they go to their house and they have food and to remember the person, pretty much. But point is, they were at the wake or whatever. So the girl was playing on the piano, and she feels someone touch her legs, which she found weird. And then I guess they brought it up to the dad, and he said that his little girl, whenever he would be on the piano, would always touch his feet to like play around with him. So the girl pretty much felt the little girl, and she had no idea that she would do that to her dad. She just mentioned it, like that she felt someone touch her feet, and it turned out that the little girl did that to her dad. How sad. That wasn't scary, that was sad. This one's another Reddit. They're all Reddit stories. So I guess someone asked, what is the creepiest true story someone has ever told you? I'll start. Not me, this person, okay? Way back in 5th grade or so, I discovered a glorious Pokemon-themed chat room through the wonders of Yahoo. Oh, Yahoo, is that still a thing? Yahoo! Yeah. I used to use Yahoo more than Google.
My first email's Yahoo.
Yeah. Well, me too, I think. Within this chat room, there were maybe 15 regulars, generally between the ages of 12 and 16 or so. And we had a great time role-playing various anime characters and storylines. These are your people, babe. Anyway, I got to know a few people from there well enough to chat with them on AIM or by phone, and a few of those friendships lasted a good 4 or 5 years. Do you remember AIM? Did you ever use AIM? The chat? No? Babe! Are you serious? It was like AOL, I think, or something, chat.
I use AOL, but no chat. I never chat. Who didn't I chat with?
Friends?
What friends?
Like them? And they had, these were like little nerds.
Maybe I was a loser.
Oh, babe, you never used AIM. It was a little chat that you could just like, I think it worked through email. It was kind of like Google Chat. You know Google Chat? I think you've never used that either.
No.
Babe, what? Well, I guess I would use it more because of work, but still, oh my god. Okay, so anyways, start over. Anyway, I got to know a few people from there well enough to chat with them on AIM or by phone, and a few of those friendships lasted a good 4 or 5 years. One of these guys was a little eccentric. He loved creature monster models and stories, stuff like Godzilla, Spawn. What's Spawn? You know?
Another like comic.
Okay.
Yeah. So not me. You never watched the movie Spawn?
Whatever. That's
It's
what
a
he says.
Movie, comic, not what. Wow.
He believed in things like chupacabras, which I thought was silly, but didn't really care. And he lived out in the boonies in some Midwestern state, which all seemed like Hickland to my young West Coast mind. Hickland? What is that? Do you know what it is? After getting to know him pretty well and having a good 100 hours of phone conversations over years, he finally revealed this lovely story. He told me that sometimes he would black out and wake up to discover that he had or was still in the process of hurting or torturing animals and children. He had quite few cousins and neighbor kids who lived nearby and apparently had killed some animals. When he revealed this to me, I felt sick inside. I love animals, and this information chilled me to the bone. I love that he says, I love animals, but what about the kids? It was really hard for him to tell me this, and he confided that I was one of the only people he had ever been able to tell. Then it got weirder. Someone in his family, or maybe a family friend, decided that he must be possessed by a demon, and that they had to perform an exorcism. They did it at night, of course, in a dark room lit by candles, and he was tied to the bed because they didn't know how the demon would react. He was choking up as he described this part. I could hear his voice quivering because he was so emotional and terrified at this part of the story. He described a pretty creepy process, but the worst part was the end. He said they heard something hit the floor under the bed when the demon left his body. Then something scrabbled across the floor and out of the room in the darkness, leaving claw marks in the wood floor. He was totally and completely serious about this and how it cured him and he didn't hurt things anymore. I, as any sane person would do, noped right the fuck out that situation. So there's actually more scary stories under this. But that's scary. An exorcism. I had a cousin actually that they had gone to church and they witnessed one out in the parking lot. They were doing it in the parking lot, like in those like big vans that have the big ass back, you know, with no seats and stuff. So I don't know if, I guess they couldn't get them to the church, or it was just the best place to do it outside of church. But it was broad daylight and they were performing an exorcism on this person, and they heard like the person like crazy, like and like super evil and stuff. But they left because you know, they're like, we ain't gonna be a part of this. I would leave too, because what if it like bounces off to me and then I'm possessed? So someone commented, my grandmother's entire life she had a recurrent nightmare. In this nightmare she would be walking down a long dark hallway, turn to the left, open a door and see something terrible. She'd always wake up before seeing what it was. In her 40s, she, her husband, my dad, my aunt were on vacation. They booked the hotel at the last minute, so they ended up having to get 2 rooms with 2 twin beds on the opposite sides of the floor. My dad wakes up around 3 a.m. and can automatically tell something's not right. He calls out in the darkness, Dad? No response. He turns on the bedside light. Dad, he says, a little louder this time. Still no response. Getting worried, he slides out of bed and shakes his father. He doesn't wake up. My dad ran down the hotel hallway to my grandma's room and started banging on the door. My grandma worriedly opens the door and my dad shouts, something's wrong with Dad. He leads her down the hallway, a long hallway, to the last door on the left. Does that sound familiar? That was her dream that she would have.
Shit, yeah.
A long hallway to the last door on the left. My grandmother reaches the door, turns to the left, and sees her husband dead in bed. Heart attack.
What?
She never had the dream again. Dang, she like saw his death pretty much before it happened. And it was her husband. Damn, it has 113 more replies. This one has like a lot of little stories on it, so it's pretty good. I'm gonna read another one. One of my friends had a job in the hospital looking after patients, making beds, etc. I heard he randomly quit his job, wouldn't talk to anyone about it. I bring some beers over to his house and I try to see if I can get him talking. He's a total emotional wreck. Finally get him to talk, and he says that he was working one night in the hospital when he heard a nurse shouting for help because someone was going into cardiac arrest. So he runs down a hallway and some man runs towards him. They almost bump into each other and the man shouts, "Where's the exit?" My friend points to the exit, then runs into the room with the man going into cardiac arrest, only to see it's the exact same person who ran past him in the hallway. He died in front of his eyes. Dang. Oh, I got the chills.
Dang.
Oh, that's scary.
He saw his spirit leave.
I would probably quit too after that. You wouldn't, huh? You'd be like, oh, that was cool.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh yeah, spirits exist.
They need to have that in Grey's Anatomy.
You don't have anything scary in Grace? Like haunting special or but not something dumb.
I don't think haunting, maybe like something spirit related, but not like, I think they do.
Not something dumb though, to where like everyone thinks something's scary and then just someone in the hiding. Or
how? I don't know.
But you're gonna replay this part, huh?
Yeah.
No, you got it 3 times.
Okay, I have a couple of stories, but this one always gets me. When I was around 7, my grandmother took care of a baby whose mother was an alcoholic and drug addict. This woman would bring her child, let's call him John, to my grandmother's house and leave him there for months at a time. Needless to say, our family became very attached and thought of him as part of the family. His mother came to get him one night and her drunk boyfriend flips the car. John was in a coma for about 3 or 4 days. One night, my older brother wakes everyone in the house up screaming and crying, saying that John is dead. Oh my god. Once my parents get him calmed down, he tells them that John came into his room crying, saying that he has to leave, but he is scared and wants my brother to come with him. Oh my god. While my parents are trying to convince my brother that it was just a dream, the phone rings and it is my uncle calling from the hospital to inform us that John had died. This happened over 30 years ago, but I still get goosebumps thinking about it.
That's crazy.
Oh my god. That is so sad. I wonder if like when people have those kind of dreams, if they go with them, like do they die too? Like say how he said John wanted him to come with him because he was scared. So if he were to have been like, yeah, okay, I'll go with you, is he dead? Does he just, is that how those deaths happen in your sleep, that you probably just have someone come for you and you just die?
Damn, that'd be crazy.
That happened to my tia. Happened to her with her dad, which is my grandpa. Passed away. She had a dream where he told her to come with him, and she didn't want to, and he was like, please, like, I'm trying to prevent you from having a, I don't know what the word was, but like a sad life, pretty much, like something's gonna happen and I want to protect you from it. And she was like, no, I don't want to go with you. And so of course, you know, she didn't go with him, and something tragic happened in her life. And then with my mom, she said, I think it was, so one of their brothers was unfortunately murdered, and she said that when he died that she had also seen him and that he wanted to take her with him, but that she was like, no, I don't want to. She was scared because she actually saw him in the way that he died, so she was like more scared than, you know. And she says that now she regrets it because she would do anything to see him again. And then my sister, I think I've told you this one, that my sister, when my grandma died, so this kind of goes around with like my family too, where we've experienced ghosts and or spirits and things like that. And my grandma passed away when, I don't remember the exact age, but it was like early 2000s, maybe late 90s. So I was around 10 to 12, around there. And my little sister Jasmine, she's the one that would see Blackie, the ghost that we would, the spirit that we had in our old house. And one morning we were having breakfast. I think she was eating her cereal or something, and she was like playing with her Barbie dolls. And then out of nowhere, she just like stops eating, or I don't know, she was playing with her Barbies, and she puts them down, and then she like puts her hands in like prayer mode, and she prays for my grandma, and she says, please let my grandma be okay. And then I don't know if it was that morning, that same morning, or the morning after, the phone rings. And what's crazy is that we weren't even gonna answer it because we were like running late already to school. So my mom had already closed, like she was already closing the door, but then she like stopped herself and was like, what if it's something urgent? So she goes, and then she answers the phone, and it was I don't know who called her to say that my grandma had passed away. So once that happened, we're super scared. Like, we're like, what the hell? Like, with my little sister, we're like, how did she even know? And it's crazy because she also knew when my grandpa got sick a little bit after that. She had made a comment about, while she was, I think, taking a bath or something, she made a comment about my grandpa. So of course my dad freaked out and called right away, and it turned out that he had gotten sick, but thankfully nothing had happened to him. But yeah, that's it. Do you have anything you want to add? Any spooky, anything? No? Tell them your dream. The one that you had. I don't even want to hear it right now. The one when I woke you up.
So,
What are you getting at?
in my dream, I was pretty much in our bedroom. We have 2 double doors that lead to the backyard with windows, so we can see the backyard, obviously. And in the living room, we have another set of sliding windows that lead into our gym, which lead outside. And we sometimes keep our dog right there in the room. So
The big dog.
the big dog. And when we let her inside, so I remember going into the kitchen, and when I walked into the kitchen, I looked into the living room, and I saw past the sliding doors that my dog was in there. And I was like, well, what's Storm doing in here? I saw her outside when I left the bedroom. So I walked back to the bedroom, and I see Storm, my dog, just sitting at the doors in the bedroom, like outside in the yard. Like, I was able to see her outside. I was like, what? That's weird. So then I walked back to the living room again, and I see Storm there too. But there's no way she could get in there because the door's closed. So I was like, what the heck? Like, I was tripping for a second. So I did one more take, and I went back to the room, and I checked, and I looked, and yep, Storm was there. I was like, so what the heck? So then I walked back to the living room, and I look, and this time when I looked, everything was pitch black. Like, the room inside was pitch black. Like, I could see the windows, and that was it. It was pitch black. And I was like, what? But I could see the outline of my dog just sitting, and it was facing me. And it was just sitting there, and I was like, what? And I started to get closer, and all of a sudden the outline of my dog forms into this thing standing. But I can't see the thing either because it's black, but I could just see its outline, but it's a person. So my dog transformed into a person in the black room. And I was like, what the? Like, oh, it was crazy. And I started walking closer. I don't know why I started going towards the window. And I started going towards it, and all of a sudden that thing just like goes through the window, and it had a hideous face, like some type of witch looking thing, but it just came at me like its claws out and just like coming at me, and like its face right in my face, and I felt like it got me. And like at that point is like when she woke me up.
Yeah, because I was sleeping, and I just hear him like mumbling or like moaning, not like dirty moaning, you know, it's just like like haciendo pucheros. So I looked at him, and I was like, what the hell? Like, he's never done, oh my, it's gonna die. He's never done that. So then I like go like, I'm like, babe, and that's when he wakes up, and he tells me I had a nightmare, and I'm like, don't tell me about it until tomorrow. So the next day, of course, I asked him what was it, and then I was scared, of course, because I think like a few days or the day after, I was in the living room by myself, and it was dark, and I was looking at the freaking sliding doors, and I was like, oh my god, I don't want to look over there. But yeah, that's creepy. Those dreams are the worst, that it happens exactly at the house, so it feels so much like so real, versus the ones that are just like you're randomly at this other house and something happens. Like those, they're scary, but it's those that happen in your exact home that are the scariest, because you're like, was it trying to tell me something or what?
I didn't care, but then she started looking into it and see what it meant.
I always look up my dreams, because I do feel like we don't just dream just because. I feel like there's a meaning to our dreams. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think about the stories that we read, if there's anything you can relate to or anything scary that has happened to you. I'm sure everyone's gonna want to read about it in the comments, so drop down your story in the description, I mean in the comment section down below. Anything you want to add, baby? No? Hopefully we sleep good tonight. I don't know what I'm gonna do for the next video. Probably, I think I do want to do like another scary stories, or I don't know, because Halloween's around the corner, so maybe I'll do like another final makeup one, but I'll keep you guys informed, or I guess you guys will see on the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we will see you on, or I will see you, maybe we will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Love you guys. Besos.